Mic check 1, 2. We live? We here? Is anybody else here? Well, I'm here. We'll start the live show talking about concerts today. So, what concerts are you most looking forward to this concert season? There's a lot of good ones out there. So hopefully somebody will pop in and have something to say, some concerts that they're excited for, maybe some concerts they've already seen that they want to recommend, or maybe a concert they saw that wasn't so great that they want to tell people, hey, make sure you don't see this one because it sucked. But yeah, if we're just talking concerts this summer, there's a lot of them. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of the big names: Aerosmith, Foo Fighters, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Motley Crue, and Def Leppard are back together touring. And I think Alice Cooper is taking over instead of Poison, though, on that one. Pearl Jam's going to do some shows. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Smashing Pumpkins, Weezer, Journey, Foreigner. I think it's the final year for Foreigner. There's some farewell tours. Foreigner, I think there was another one. I think Kix, the band Kix, is doing a farewell tour as well. Reunion tours. You got Blink 182. They're back together. And the Foo Fighters are going to be touring again too with a new drummer, so that's kind of exciting. A lot of big like stadium tours. Like I'm shocked at how many. All those ones I just mentioned are all stadiums, and then you've got those like theater level shows, and then obviously like the smaller club bar shows, which I personally love. I really enjoy those because you can get right up front stage, right up to the front of the stage, and yeah, Foo Fighters. Oh, hi, Debbie. Yes, Dead Daisies. I've never seen them live. I've had, I think, 3 or 4 members of the band on my show, but I've never seen the band live. They came here with a local band called the Black Moods that I've seen numerous times, and but I think the show was canceled. So hopefully they reschedule that. And I don't know if they're going to tour. Do they have tour dates lined up, Dead Daisies? I don't know if because they had that one was Black Moods, Dead Daisies, and Don Jameson, stand-up comedian, opening the show, or maybe he did the middle. I can't remember, but supposedly it went really well. So I would definitely be interested in seeing that, especially now that John Corabi, ex-Motley Crue singer, is back fronting the band. I'm a big fan of his. I've seen him live a couple times doing just solo acoustic stuff, and he was really good. He's one of those people that can still sing. And I think that's important when you're going to see a band that's been around for a while. The singer, if the singer can't sing, it makes for a tough show. Like there's certain singers that just seems like they don't age. Like Steven Tyler is one of those guys that he still sounds amazing. He can still scream. That's not easy to do. And a band that we just saw, I thought is totally underrated, Ugly Kid Joe, and the singer Whitfield Crane. I mean, that guy still sounds amazing. I've never seen them live, but I'm assuming he was good back in the day. I mean, he sounded amazing a few weeks ago. I couldn't believe it. There was not one like note that he couldn't hit or part that he screwed up. The whole band sounded great, but especially his vocals blew me away. I was like, wow, he can still sing all those notes. That's got to be really tough to sing that stuff. Foo Fighters, definitely. I've never seen the Foo Fighters. We actually got tickets. See the Foo Fighters. They're coming to Phoenix in like September, October. So we just got a lawn ticket. It was actually not that bad. That's the other thing with some of these shows is like, you look at the prices. I think Aerosmith, I've never seen Aerosmith for whatever reason. I just never got a chance to see him. So I was like, oh, this is their farewell tour. I got to see Aerosmith, right? Well, yeah, but it's like $300 or $400 for the nosebleed cheap seats. The cheap seats are $300 or $400. Plus that doesn't include parking, t-shirt, beers, all that other stuff. I mean, so you're looking at probably $500 per person. You're looking at $1,000 night for 2 people to go to a concert, most likely, and really like have a good time and enjoy yourselves. Like, and that's for the bad seats. Yeah, I don't know. Jolyn Turner has a great. What about Steelheart? Oh, is Steelheart touring? I had the singer of Steelheart on my show. I don't know if I didn't see Phoenix on the list, or I don't know if they come out this way. I know he's more I think he's more East Coast, isn't he? But yeah, there's a lot of like Mike Tramp from Ex White Lion. I think he's got some show dates too, but I didn't see, he's not coming out this way either. Sometimes like you got to drive for us anyways, like in Phoenix. They don't come to Phoenix, but like with Ugly Kid Joe, we just went to Vegas, and other bands I can go to LA. So you figure that most bands are going to hit LA, but sometimes they don't hit the West Coast at all. So yeah, does anybody else have any concerts they're looking to see? There's so many big one. There's a lot of the heavier bands are touring too. They're doing big stadium shows like Mudvayne, Lamb of God, Rob Zombie, Disturbed. Those kinds of bands are doing big shows. Um, some of the alternative bands, Garbage is touring with Noel Gallagher from Oasis, Fall Out Boy touring, Nickelback, 5 Seconds of Summer, and of course some of the pop stuff like Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, Beck, and Pink. Pink is one I'd actually be kind of interested in. See, she's super talented. I mean, she's kind of a rock chick, but more of a pop girl, but very talented. I think that would actually be one of those concerts that you're like, oh, I don't want to see that. And then you see it and you go, oh, that's actually really good. I've heard she's good live. Blink-182 definitely has a lot of hits. Disturbed. Yeah, there's like a lot of those bands that I'm like, I don't know, like for some reason I'm not a diehard and I haven't gone, but sometimes those are the best concerts. Like I remember one time I saw Bad Religion, wasn't a big Bad Religion fan, but somebody talked me into going. I was like, okay. And I went, I was like, oh, wow, these guys are really good. And then I was a fan. And that sometimes that happens like that. It's the concerts that you're not gung ho about that you actually just, you go to, and then you become a fan. If the band does a good job, sometimes maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you thought you were a fan and you saw them live and you go, ooh, they're terrible. But yeah, I think Pink is really cool too. Yeah, and then there's some of those like the mid-level, kind of like the theater. I don't know what you call. They're not going to be playing stadiums, but they're playing bigger than like bars. Is bands like Dream Theater. I don't think I've ever seen them. I think that would be a good show because just all the musicians in there. Wolf Mother. I would definitely be interested in seeing that one. Skid Row and Buck Cherry. That's definitely on my list. I haven't bought the tickets yet, but they're coming here. I would definitely want to see that. Extreme is a band. I interviewed that singer, Gary Sharon, and I think that would be a really cool show. Very talented band. Corey Taylor is doing kind of like a theater level tour solo. That would be interesting to see him for sure. Yeah, so many good ones. Does anybody want to jump in? And so there's 6 people watching. Does anybody want to jump in? And I'll put the link in the comments here. If anybody wants to pop in, say hello, tell me about the concerts they've seen or that they want to see. There's just so many. I could just keep going down the list. There's so many bands that I have not seen live, but I bet you they would be probably pretty good. I mean, if I would just had the time, and you could just be like literally a full-time concert goer and you still wouldn't be able to see all these great shows that are coming. It's amazing. And there's other bands that are like not necessarily rock that I'd be curious, like Zach Brown Band. I've heard that's a really good show. He's more country, but I think it would be a really fun show live. A lot of good country hits. Same with like Garth Brooks. And I've heard the same thing about him. His shows are amazing live. I've heard Bruce Springsteen is really good. I think he's on tour as well. So a lot of crazy shows going on this summer. But I want to know what you guys want to see. Yeah, you like Zach Brown too? Yeah, me too. I've just never seen him live. But Madonna is touring. I thought that was interesting. I'm very curious about a pop artist live because they don't typically have a band, do they? I don't know because I haven't seen a lot of pop artists. We did see Gwen Stefani, but I think that she mostly used a live backing band. I mean, you figure she was in No Doubt. I mean, that was a band. So, I mean, she kind of went pop later in her career, but Madonna, I don't think most of her music does not use a band. So does she have a band live or is it all just pre-recorded? Because that's almost like basically karaoke, isn't it? I'm not sure how that works. And that's the same with like rap. I'd be curious. Like I don't think I've ever been to a rap concert. Like Snoop Dogg is touring, 50 Cent with Busta Rhymes. Like those guys got some hits, but like, how is a show live? Is it cool seeing that? And the same with like DJs, like the techno EDM, whatever you want to call it. Like there's a lot of people that go to those shows. They're packed, they get huge, but it's just literally a person pushing buttons on a laptop and going like this. Like, is it Is that worth it? I mean, I guess you're all listening to the music and maybe they're mixing it as you're listening to it live. So that is a talent, I guess. It's kind of interesting when you think about it, like to watch somebody. I guess it's just like a giant rave, I guess what it would be, more so than, I guess maybe you wouldn't call it a concert. Maybe you just call it a rave, a big party, big rave. I don't know. Be interesting. Not at the top of my list though. I think one band, the Pearl Jam. I don't know if I mentioned that one. They're touring. I'm from Seattle, and for whatever reason, I've never seen them live. And I feel like that might be a good one. I think they have a lot of good songs, and I'd be curious. I don't know how Eddie Vedder's voice sounds, but I would think they would still sound pretty good. And that might be a really fun one, especially if I went and saw it in Seattle. But I don't know that they're doing a show in Seattle. I've never seen the Red Hot Chili Peppers live either. That band has been around so long. People think it's like a 90s alternative band, but they've been around since the 80s. They would just weren't as big. They were more like an underground kind of punk alternative band then. And then they got huge in the 90s and 2000s, but that would be an interesting one. Weezer is on tour. We've actually seen them twice. Not necessarily, I never paid for the tickets, but we saw them once. They played the Innings Festival here in Phoenix, and I got free tickets from my buddy at the radio station, and they put on a great show. And then just at the NFL draft in Vegas, not this year, but the year before, they played there, and that was free. And so we actually got to see them again, and they were great both times. So if you like Weezer, I would recommend that show. I think that was pretty good. What the Misfits? That's interesting because that's an old band from the 70s punk band back together. But I just don't know that I could ever see the Misfits after interviewing their guitarist Doyle. It was just such a tool to me in the interview. I feel like it like ruined any sort of draw they had. I just feel like I would be looking at him and going, that guy's such a jerk. Like, I don't think I could enjoy the concert. I don't know. It'd be interesting. Maybe I just tune out and just focus on the show, because I bet you they put on a good show. But that would be an interesting one for sure. You always wonder with punk bands, aging punk bands, kind of interesting to think about. Another one I think I saw, I might have missed it, but I interviewed the singer of Fear, Lee Ving, and I don't think they're going to be around much longer, but he was on tour doing a smaller level tour. That would be an interesting one to see live for sure. He's been around a long time, but a lot of good punks. If you like punk rock like that, like they're one of the first punk bands, Fear, the Misfits, all that 70s punk revolution. That would be cool. Let's see. Oh, your son saw the Stones. Oh my gosh. How expensive is that show? If Aerosmith is $300 or $400 for the cheap seats, how much do the Rolling Stones cost? That's got to be insane. It's got to be like $1,000 for like a nosebleed for the Rolling Stones. Is there a concert with Ozzy, Zach, and AC/DC? That would be cool. That would be fun. Yeah, is AC/DC touring? I didn't see them on the list of like biggest shows of the summer, but I would definitely be down for seeing AC/DC again. I saw them in 96 on the Ball Breaker tour, and that was cool because like that's one of those shows like that you remember not only for the music, but just like the stage and the props and stuff. Like they came out and they had a big crane and there was a big ball and it was swinging, and then it goes bam and it knocks the wall down, and they came out, and I was like, oh, that is a great entrance. Like I feel like that's a huge part of shows now is you got to have the theatrics. And I think that's a huge piece of it. I know Kiss was really big on that. I've never seen Kiss live. I had tickets to see them in like 97 or 98. It was the reunion tour with Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. And for whatever reason, I got canceled. So I never went. And obviously now it's not the same, but I think it's your last chance. Supposedly, isn't this the last tour for Kiss too? It's the Kiss of Death or whatever, the final kiss or whatever. I didn't even see them on the list. Maybe are they already done? Or I thought that the final show's like New Year's Eve or something like that. I don't know. That might be interesting. You're not a big Kiss fan? Yeah, I'm not either. I like them. I mean, I like some songs, but I'm not like so many people like love Kiss. Like it's their favorite band. They're so influential. Whenever I ask people in interviews, like, who's your favorite band? Kiss is like probably the most mentioned band of any band that has influenced people that I've interviewed, which is crazy to think about. Pantera with Zach. Oh yeah. I've seen Pantera at least twice that I can remember back in the day with Dimebag and stuff. And those were cool shows. Like my friends were really into metal. So like, you want to go to Pantera? I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll go to Pantera. And then like, I'm like this skinny little guy, like 130 pounds, like just, you know, eyes wide open, trying not to get murdered in the mosh pit. But yeah, those Pantera shows were intense. I bet you it's not as intense now. I'm guessing people are not moshing at our age, although you never know because people get a few beers in them. Things change. I think they're young. Um, yeah, and I never believe in those farewell tours either. They always say, "Oh, it's our farewell tour," and then they always come back, right? I mean, unless the people die, but that's the thing. See, that's when you think of some of these older bands and the older musicians, it might be your last chance, and that's what's kind of scary. So if there is somebody that you want to see and you're kind of on the fence, like just pull the trigger. Because I know for me, Tom Petty, we were going to Colorado, and I wanted to see Tom Petty at Red Rocks. I've never seen Tom Petty, never seen a concert at Red Rocks, and heard great things about both. But it was like $400 to see it. And I was like, that's so expensive. I was like, that's like $800 for two people. It's like with the parking and the beers and t-shirts, it's probably like $1,000 for two people. And I was like, I just don't know that I'm that big of a fan. And then he died like literally weeks or months later. And I was like, I should have just pulled the trigger. So maybe I'll do that with Aerosmith because I mean, if it really is the last tour, or if one of them passes away, I might regret that. I mean, that's a legendary band. Like, I don't know. It'd be nice to be able to say that I saw them, even if it's from the nosebleeds and I'm just basically watching the screen. That's the other thing is like when you're in those nosebleeds, like you're basically watching the screen. So then you kind of wonder, like, maybe it's better to just like get a really good sound system. $1,000, you get a really big TV and a really good sound system, and you can watch a live DVD. Maybe that's just as good, if not better. I don't know. Tom Petty. Yeah, that was a good one. Well, not getting a lot of viewers tonight. I think people are out. The people that wanted to talk concerts are not home on a Saturday night. Maybe I should have done this on a Wednesday or something, because I don't think anybody wants to talk concerts. If the people that love concerts are out seeing concerts right now, I think. So maybe that's why I'm not getting a lot of viewers. But yeah, there was no good concerts going on tonight that I was really wanting to see. We just saw last weekend, we saw the Bullet Boys, which was that's like a little bit of a deep cut. But if you're an 80s rock fan, they had their moment, and they still sound great. I mean, they have, obviously it's a new band, but it's still the same singer, Mark Torian. He plays guitar too. And I had fun. I thought they were great. They sounded amazing. And again, it's cool to see bands in those tiny environments like that. You just like right up to the stage. It's amazing. And you can sing along and basically see I hate when you're at a concert and you're just watching the screen. It's kind of like, again, it goes back to like, maybe you just want to watch like a DVD or something, or if there's somebody standing in front of you and you're looking at a cowboy hat or something like that, like that's frustrating. Like, I think when we saw Greta Van Fleet, I was like trying to I couldn't see anything. And there was this one little open spot. I walked over there, and then this guy's like yelled at me like, "Hey, that's for my kid. You need to leave this like space bubble so that my kid can see." I was like, okay, so we all have to suffer so your kid can see the show because he's like 3 feet tall. Like, okay. So yeah, that's annoying. Somebody said they went to the concert Red Rocks in the 90s for $25. Damn, I'm jealous. I still have never seen a show there. I think if I go to a Red Rocks concert, it's going to have to be some sort of like either off season or it's going to have to be like a Tuesday, like a cover band or something, or like the high school jazz band plays at Red Rocks or something like that. Cause I feel like the other shows, I probably just can't afford them. They're just going to be too expensive to see like a really good concert there. Or I need to get some sort of connection. I need to like have somebody on my podcast and then ask them to put me on the list or something like that. Triple bill, Poison, and who else? Slaughter? Why can't I read that comment? Poison. Oh, I can put comments up here. Oh, that's cool. I didn't mean to do that, but it was a triple bill, Poison, and I'm assuming that meant Slaughter. Okay. That's cool. That would have been fun. I saw Poison. It was like Poison, Cinderella, Slaughter, and I feel like there was one other one in there. Poison, Slaughter, Cinderella. Oh, maybe Nelson. I can't remember, but that was at the Gorge in Washington. If you're ever in Washington, especially in the summer, go see a concert at the Gorge. It's a little bit of a drive from Seattle, but it's worth it. That is, I think, one of the best concert venues I have ever been to. But I've heard Red Rocks is comparable, so I would definitely want to compare the two. But the Gorge is amazing. It's right over the Columbia River, and they'll usually play like a really good song right as the sun is setting. Like I remember when I saw Motley Crue and the Scorpions. I think the Scorpions played first. I feel like they did Wind of Change right as the sun was setting. That was really cool. That was really neat. So that's always like something like that. I'm trying to remember because I saw Guns N' Roses at the Gorge for the reunion tour in 2016, and I can't remember what song they played when the sun was setting, but yeah, it's very cool. Well, thank you guys for listening to me blabber. Poison, Slaughter, and Bullet Boys. Oh wow. Yeah, that at the Red Rocks, that would have been insane. And for $25. Oh my God. I'm so jealous. That would be amazing. Yeah. If you could see that today, I would pay 3 times that even. Saw Motley. Yeah. I've seen Motley Crue so many times. I don't know. It's tough it's hard for Vince, I feel like, to sing those songs now, though. It's like it's definitely you can tell that he's struggling. He sounded a little bit better on this last run than the times that I've seen him in the past, or like his solo tour. But I feel like he could do better too if he really worked on it. I feel like he could get his voice in shape. But okay, well, thanks, guys. I only had a few people show up. We'll have to try this again on a not Saturday where everyone's out and the weather's so nice. I'm sure where you are, it's like 100 degrees here, but I'm sure people are out. They're seeing concerts. They're doing fun stuff. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thanks for checking this out.